within the central bank median, and general optimism in the economic trajectory. We recently announced our Q1 results, which are reflective of some of those conditions. And we registered 6.6 billion profit in Q1, albeit a 13% drop year on year. We remain firm, nevertheless, in our belief in the strength and relevance of our strategy during this time of change and uncertainty. We will continue our razor-sharp focus on execution of our strategy and investing in our areas of competitive strength while supporting and protecting the well-being of our clients, colleagues, and our communities. We are also cognizant of the changing landscape as far as banking is concerned, primarily coming out of technology. We are seeing the advancements of AI, cloud computing, increasing client expectations from changing customer behavior, and increased competition from all other players. It is very clear to us that we will need to adapt to this complex and changing environment. I would like now to thank the Board of Directors, my management team, and colleagues for their unwavering dedication, commitment, and resilience. I also extend my appreciation to all of you, our shareholders, for the support you continue to give us, and the wider community at large, whose support and trust has been instrumental to our success. Asante sana.
Thank you, Kariuki. Before we consider the formal business of the meeting, I'd like to remind shareholders that voting will be by poll, as has been the practice adopted by companies for the conduct of virtual annual general meetings. Shareholders can vote in favor of, against, or abstain from any resolution. Kindly note that voting will be closed after the last agenda item. Shareholders are encouraged to continue voting before then. The results will be announced before the close of the meeting. Shareholders, the annual audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2024, including the reports of the directors and statutory auditor, were made available to you through our website. I propose that we take the report as read. I will now call upon Mr. Tom Nyakoe, the representative from our auditor Ernst & Young LLP, to highlight their audit opinion to members. The auditor's report is covered on pages 146 to page 150 of the annual report.
Thank you, Chair. Members, our report is on pages 146 to 150 of the annual report and is taken as read. The following are the highlights of our report. Independent Auditor's Report to the members of Standard Chartered Bank, Kenya Limited. Report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. We have audited the accompanying consolidated and separate financial statements of Standard Chartered Bank, Kenya Limited, in brackets the company, and its subsidiaries, together the group, set out on pages 151 to 276, which complies the consolidated and separate statement of financial position as at 31st December 2024, and the consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss, the consolidated and separate statement of other comprehensive income, consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity, and the consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and notes the consolidated and separate financial statements, including material accounting policy information. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. We are independent of the group and the company in accordance with International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants. We believe that the audit evidence we obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for opinion. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that, in our professional judgment, were most significant in the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements of current year. These matters were addressed in the context of audit of the consolidated separate financial statements as a whole and inform your opinion thereon. And we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. The key audit matters were: 1. Expected credit losses on loans and advances to customers. This was identified as a key audit matter because the estimation of expected credit losses on financial instruments enforced income judgment and estimates due to the significant uncertainty associated with the assumptions used in the estimation in respect of the timing and measurements of ECLs. Number 2, provision of contingent liabilities in respect of claims and litigations. This area was significant to our audit since the accounting and disclosures for contingent liabilities in respect of claims and litigations is complex and judgmental due to the difficulty in predicting the outcome of the matter and estimating the potential impact if the outcome is unfavorable. And the amount involved are or can be material to the financial statements as a whole. Responsibilities of the directors for the financial statements. The directors are responsible for the preparation of fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with various accounting standards as issued by the International Accounting Standard Board and the requirements of the Kenyan Company Act 2015, and for such an internal control as the director determines necessary to enable the preparation of consolidated and separate financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statement, the directors are responsible for assessing the group and the company's ability to continue as going concerns, disclosing, as applicable, matters related to going concern and using the going concern basis for accounting, unless the directors either intend to liquidate the group or the company or to cease operations or have no realistic alternative but to do so. Our responsibilities as your auditors. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance are a level of assurance, but it's not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with international standard auditing will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatement can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if, individually or in the aggregate, they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decision of users taken on the basis of these consolidated financial statements. We communicate with the directors regarding, among other matters, the branch scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deviations in internal controls that are identified during the audit. We also provide the directors a statement that we have complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence and communicate with them our relationships and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on our independence, and where applicable, related safeguards. Our opinion. In our opinion, members, the consolidated and separate financial statements present fairly in all material respects the consolidated and separate financial position of the group and the company as at 1st December 2024, and it is consolidated and separate financial performance, and this is consolidated and separate cash flow for the year that ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standards as issued by the International Accounting Standard Board and the requirements of the Kenyan Company Act 2015. Reports on other matters prescribed by the Kenyan Company Act 2015. As required by the Kenyan Company Act 2015, we report to you, based on audit, that 1, in our opinion, the information given in the report of the directors on pages 74 to 76 is consistent with the consolidated and separate financial statements. 2, in our opinion, the auditable part of the director's remuneration report on pages 139 to 143 has been properly prepared in accordance with the Kenyan Company Act 2015. Our report was signed by CPA Tom Nyakoy on behalf of Ernst & Young LLP and dated 28 March 2025. Thank you, member.
Thank you, Tom. Members, as you're all aware, shareholders were given an opportunity to ask questions and seek clarifications prior to this meeting with respect to the financial statements and the resolutions contained in the notice and agenda of this meeting. Responses were provided to shareholders who asked questions and sought clarifications prior to the AGM. Having said that, we will provide an additional opportunity to the shareholders with pressing questions to ask them through the questions button on your streaming device or via the mobile phone USSD code, which should appear on your screen. Please note that we may not manage to respond to all questions raised. However, we encourage shareholders to continue posting questions on the live stream. All questions received will be collated and the responses will be published on our website. Shareholders, let me now invite those wishing to call in with questions to proceed and dial in. Hello, and thank you for calling in. Please state your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Sally Chepkorir, and I'm calling you from Elgeyo Marakwet.
Please proceed to ask your question, Sally.
Yes, but allow me, Chairperson, to say this first. Allow me to commend you for and your entire board for not only being the powerhouse that you are, but the blueprint of the organization's strength and its solid brand.
Thank you.
Kudos to Lighter Standard Chartered team for enhancing shareholders' value. Congratulations for posting incredible results despite hard economic times. Now, answer the following question. Answer the following questions. Kenyan shilling is losing value against US dollar, and yet young people own the market. What role does the company play to ensure that their businesses are struggling, that their businesses that are struggling can thrive or bounce back? And then Roman 2, does Standard Chartered have a dedicated budget or team for youth initiative? And how does the board ensure this effort translates into tangible business value? The next question is on AI. AI is driving us today. What are the impacts of AI activities in the organization today? And as a matter of corporate strategy, is it a threat or an opportunity? Because human capital is becoming very expansive. Is it a threat to human resource or an opportunity?
Thank you, Sally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sally. We have noted your questions and will respond to them after all the questions are in.
Okay.
Hello, and thank you for calling in. Please state your name and where you're calling us from.
Good morning. My name is Anzao Jones from Machakos County. I want to start by making a compliment to the chairman and the management of Standard Chartered Bank for the well-done job in these few years past. I would say shareholders are very happy receiving dividends time from time, a good dividends. And we want to ask you to keep it up and before we say that you have some areas where you have to cover because the MD must understand COVID is the one which dropped our AGM, and now the COVID is already gone. We are begging him to get few shareholders to discuss with him so that they can pass some messages to him so that to give him improvement on running the organization. Shareholders have a lot of ideas to discuss with the MD and see our company is keeping up. My question now goes to corporate social responsibility is not a well spread up issue. It is not even appearing anywhere, and we don't see how you're operating with it. I understand Standard Chartered is alongside the country, and it should reach many people. The other issue I would want to say, there are rumors, very stiff rumors, that Standard may exit from Kenya. Is that correct or not correct? If it's a rumors, let it stay a rumors. If it's correct, give us an answer. Thank you so much. My questions are that.
Thank you very much. We have noted your questions and will respond to you after all questions are in.
Thank you so much.
Hello, and thank you for calling in. Please state your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Daniel Kemodo. I'm calling from Nairobi, a shareholder of Standard Chartered. Madam Chair, first of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank you and your board for the year that was. It was a very good year. And I want specifically to state three things. One, about the dividend. That was excellent. And thank you, because there are some people who may make profit and decide not to share the profit with the shareholders. But a dividend of 45 shillings, kudos. The other one, there is a statement I have read, I think, from the CEO about the implementation of stringent financial crime compliance standards, which has resulted in improved fraud control. I think that one also kudos, because if you have implemented this thing with this issue of AI and everything, and the way maybe the people's money or investment may not be safe, by implementing this stringent financial crime compliance standard, I think that is a step in the right direction, and I may want to know whether it has been fully implemented. Another thank you is about your ratios. I have looked at all your ratios, which define the health of the bank or the health of any institution. And when I look at your cost-income ratio, the return on investment, OA, all those ratios you know about, they are excellent. Thank you for the high corporate governance and what you are doing. Now to my question, they are very brief and they are three. One, there was a case which the court ruled in favor of the pension, the case about pension. I'm sure you know about it, and it's about 3 billion. Now, my question is, will pension fund be able to absorb the 3 million, or it will not, and then the issue will come to the bank to pay? And if it's the rate that the pension fund may not be able to absorb, and that thing now comes to the bank, will the bank pay the 3 billion, and how will it affect the bank going forward? Question number two, the CEO has explained what necessitated about even the reduction of the balance sheet from 428 billion to 384 billion, the customers' deposits down, loan and advances down. Now, and he has said one is because of the appreciation of Kenya shillings against the dollar. But now he has also mentioned about something that we are calling geopolitical situation that we find ourselves in. These things are continuing to be worse. So I don't know going forward how you are going to mitigate this, because it is not easing. The geopolitical are continuing even in our own continent of Africa. Then finally, it's about regulation by the central bank, and the central bank has issued very stringent regulation, and I want to quote one which is saying about the Basel III, of which I know, of course, it's the average between risk-weighted assets and as a percentage of something. And it is a very complex thing. Maybe it's not complex to you as bankers. So, and I have seen that you have used it in note 4 when you are talking about your operation risk and so on and so forth. So my question is, this regulation from the CBK about the Basel III, about the risk-based pricing, about all those things, how are they affecting your issuing of the loans to the customers, and what do you think will be the effect in the long run? As per the capital requirement, I'm sure that even if they have said that all banks should hit 10 billion, you are quite able to do that. I don't expect you to come to the shareholders for the right issue, but I know that you are in a right footing. So those are my questions, and those are also my regards to you. and I hope that you will have a good year, and we expect not you to go down, but to continuing going forward. Thank you, Madam Chair, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Daniel. We've noted your questions and will respond to them after all the questions are in. Hello, and thank you for calling in. Please state your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Emmanuel Masaba, calling from Busia County, number 040. My CDS account is 13443, a shareholder of StandChat.
Please proceed to ask your question.
First of all, I commend you for producing a very solid balance sheet, Chairman, and growing shareholders' funds to almost 71.7 billion shillings. Thank you very much, and keep it up. My question number one is on cyber crime. Since you have a lot of money in the bank, how protected are you? Question number two, I have seen several legal cases in court, and I read somewhere you didn't provide for a provision. Now, should the cases go against your favor, what will be the effect? Finally, there is a Nairobi Marathon event which the bank sponsors yearly. Does it bring any income to the bank? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. We have noted your questions and will respond to them after all the questions are in.
Thank you.
Thank you, shareholders. Before we go ahead to respond to the questions, we shall provide you with the guidelines on how to cast your votes for the resolutions placed before this AGM and which are summarized in the notice of this meeting. Please watch the upcoming video which will guide you on the voting process.
Welcome to the 39th Annual General Meeting of Standard Chartered Bank Kenya Limited. Voting for the AGM resolutions is currently open. Karibu kwenye mkutano mkuu wa mwaka wa 39 wa Standard Chartered Bank Kenya Limited. Upigaji kura kwa maazimio ya AGM kwa sasa umefunguliwa. A text message and an email prompt has been sent to all eligible shareholders and proxy holders with instructions on how to vote. Those with multiple accounts and holding proxies on behalf of other shareholders will be prompted to vote for the various accounts consecutively. Ujumbe mfupi na barua pepe umetumwa kwa wanahisa wote wanaohitimu na wawakilishi, yani proxy, ulio na maagizo ya jinsi ya kupiga kura. Kwa wale walio na akaunti zaidi ya moja au aliyetumwa kuwakilisha, yani proxy, watahamasishwa kupiga kura kwa akaunti mbalimbali mfululizo. The prompts will be as follows. Registered shareholders and proxies will key in and dial the following USSD code from any mobile phone network in Kenya. Upigaji kura utafanyika kama ifuatavyo. Wanahisa na wawakilishi, yani proxy, watapiga msimbo wa USSD ufuatao kwenye simu zao. Msimbo huu unaweza kutumika kwa mitandao yote ya simu Kenya. *483 *833 *483 *833 #. Once the shareholder chooses the language, the next prompt will be as follows. Mwanahisa atakapochagua lugha, atapata jibu lifuatalo. Welcome to the Standard Chartered Bank Kenya Limited AGM. Reply with 1. Karibu kwa mkutano mkuu wa mwaka wa Standard Chartered Bank Kenya Limited. Bonyeza 1. Once the shareholder has responded, they shall receive the following prompt. Mwanahisa atapata jibu lifuatalo. Accounts registered with your number are listed below. Reply with 1 to vote using the first listed account. Akaunti iliyosajiliwa kwa nambari yako imeorodheshwa hapa chini. Bonyeza 1 kupiga kura. Once the shareholder has responded, they shall receive the following prompt. Mwanahisa atapata jibu lifuatalo. Adopt annual report and financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2024, together with the directors, statements of the chairman, CEO, and the auditor's reports thereon. Reply with 1 if in favor. Reply with 2 if against. Reply with 3 to abstain. Kupitisha taarifa ya mwaka na taarifa za fedha kwa mwaka ulioisha tarehe 31 Disemba mwaka 2024, pamoja na ripoti za mkurugenzi, taarifa za mwenyekiti, ripoti za mkurugenzi mtendaji na wakaguzi. Bonyeza 1 kukubali. Bonyeza 2 kukataa. Bonyeza 3 kuazilia. Continue following the same prompts for all other resolutions. Shareholders with multiple accounts shall be prompted to vote until they exhaust all their accounts. Endelea kufuata mchakato kwa hoja zingine. Mwanahisa anaweza kurudia mchakato mzima ili kupiga kura tena ikiwa ana akaunti zaidi ya moja. The live stream link for this meeting was sent to all eligible shareholders via SMS and email. Once you click the link, you will find the Resolution tab on the dashboard. Click the button and thereafter click the voting options against each resolution as per your choice. Once completed, click the Submit Vote for Resolutions button to complete voting. Kiungo cha mtiririko wa moja kwa moja cha mkutano huu kilitumwa kwa wanahisa wote wanaostahiki kupitia SMS na barua pepe. Mara baada ya kubofya kiungo, utapata kichupo cha Resolution kwenye dashibodi. Bofya kitufe na kisha ubofye chaguo za kupiga kura dhidi ya kila azimio kulingana na chaguo lako. Baada ya kukamilika, bofya kitufe cha Submit Vote for Resolutions ili kukamilisha kupiga kura. Closing of voting will be announced by the chairman. Kufungwa kwa upigaji kura kutatangazwa na mwenyekiti. Results of the resolutions voted on will be published on the company's website within 24 hours following conclusion of the AGM. Matokeo ya uchaguzi yatachapishwa kwenye wavuti ya kampuni kati ya masaa 24 kufuatia hitimisho la huu mkutano.
I will now ask the CEO and CFO to answer the questions shareholders have asked in this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, shareholders, for very good questions. And we'll go through them. I'll start with Sally's question, which is really, and we appreciate your recognition for the results. Thank you very much. You asked 2 questions on dedicated, do you have a dedicated budget for the youth initiative? And the answer is yes. And if you look at our results, our audited accounts, we've talked about our future makers by Standard Chartered. That is the foundation. That is how we do what the initiatives we have, which focuses on employability, entrepreneurship, and education. And we've got several programs that are running currently that is mainly in aid of the young people with a special focus on the persons with disabilities. So in the report, it's very, very clearly showing some of the initiatives we did for 2024. And this is something we continue to do. It's something we continue putting a lot more money on so that we can make a big impact around those 3 areas I've mentioned: employability, entrepreneurship, and education. On the issue of AI, what is the impact in our company? Do we see it as a strength or do we see it as a threat? We see this as an opportunity. Like all technologies, you know, your bank is technology driven. That's our strong point. For the longest of times, Standard Chartered has always thrived on using technology to power its strategy. That's the reason why we have the network that we have, and we're able to post the kind of results that we are posting. So AI, we see this as an opportunity. What can we do? And we can deploy it in various areas. We can deploy it in areas of cybercrime, for instance, and one of the shareholders, I think it was Daniel, who asked a question of cyber. AI can help us in terms of identifying the trends so that we're able to pick up if a trend is not consistent with your habits when you're accessing your account. That is an area that we can do something on. We can look at areas of prevention of fraud. That's another area that we can deploy AI. There's very many areas that the banking sector is looking at deployment of AI. And for us as Standard Chartered, we don't see this as a threat. We see it as an opportunity. And the company at the moment is investing a lot of money educating the staff, ourselves, all of us to be able to understand AI so that we can deploy it better to ensure that the returns to you as shareholders, these opportunities fully realized, and it's not a threat to the company. So that's to Sally. So thank you for those very good questions. Then John Zhao from Machakos Town asked about CSR, and I would like to refer you to page 50, from page 50 all the way to page 60. It covers, we've gone to a lot of detail on what the activities that we undertook, again referring to the future makers by Standard Chartered. So if I refer you to page 50 all the way to page 60, you'll be able to read the questions that what we are doing as far as the CSR activities are concerned. You asked to comment on rumors. We do not comment on rumors. Because there'll always be rumors at any one time. So which rumor do you comment on? We have been very clear on our strategy when the group announced the announcement that we made some 2 years back on sharpening of our strategy, which markets and segments we are redefining within the group. And you are very clear. You know, Kenya was not in that list, and so please, rumors is something we do not comment on, because there'll always be rumors. But Standard Chartered is here, and that is why we are doing what we are doing for your company. Daniel Kamodho from Nairobi asked questions on fraud and all the things we are doing. Thank you very much. We appreciate. It is always our top concern, because one of the most important thing about bank and Standard Chartered specifically is trust. That you trust that the money you've left with us, your savings, will always be safe. So in terms of, we do a lot of investments in terms of fraud prevention, in terms of financial crime, so that we are able to protect you and protect your funds at any one time. So that is something that we should always continue. And then there was the issue of, on the pension case, I will ask my CFO to comment on that, because that was very specific, whether we'll be able to absorb the money. But I'll also comment, before I ask her to step in on that, I will comment on the geopolitical tensions and what are we seeing about that is tension and challenges is something that we have to contend with at any one time. I mentioned in my report earlier that yes, there's a lot of tension at the moment with the issues of with the tariffs that have been imposed, and you've seen what has happened in the global markets. But we are confident that as Standard Chartered, we should be able to navigate through to help our clients, because if you look at our strategy, we operate in some of the most dynamic markets. Some of them, and there'll always be opportunities within those markets. And for us as management, our challenge is, how do we identify the opportunities to help the clients? And once in the process of helping the clients, that is when we believe that we are making a difference. Once you're making a difference in their lives, then we know we are making a difference to the bottom line. So global political tensions, geopolitical tensions, whatever you call them, it's real. And we are very conscious of that, but we are making sure that we can be able to navigate through this so that your company will remain strong and will remain healthy. Just to give you, if this assurance is anything to go by, remember, we've been in Kenya for more than 100 years, and if you just look at Kenya for the last 100 years, you can see what has been happening in the last 100 years, and your company is still remaining strong. There was a question from Daniel on the regulation by the central bank on Basel III. I'll ask the CFO to comment on that part as well. Then there was Emmanuel from Busia County, who asked about cyber and how protected are we. To answer you is, we are taking all the necessary actions to ensure that we are protected. We are taking all the necessary investments that we need to do to ensure that your funds are safe in matter cyber. We know that this is always evolving. As technologies, for instance, the one we've mentioned, the AI, as technologies evolve, they get better, so are the criminals. They will get better, they'll get more sophisticated. And as a bank, this is an area that we don't spare any dollars or any Kenya shillings in terms of investments to ensure that we are able to detect and be able to do what we need to do as far as protecting ourselves and protecting your funds is concerned. So that I would like to give you that assurance. And then On the legal cases, that's a question of provision. My CFO is going to comment on that. And then finally, Emmanuel asked a question on the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon. I would like to welcome you to join us this year for our 22nd edition. We do not see Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon as a revenue earner. We don't consider that. As I said, we use the Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon to raise funds for future makers, which focus, and those are the funds that we put into a CSR, our corporate social responsibilities. Last year, we raised a record 48 million, and this money goes to help our young people in terms of on matters entrepreneurship, employability, and education. So we do not do the Standard Chartered Marathon as for revenue purposes, but to fundraise for our efforts. So I hope that I've covered all the questions that you had very well asked, and I'll ask my CFO now to answer the other questions. Chemutai.
Thank you, Kariuki. Shareholders, good afternoon. Good morning, actually, just a few minutes. Regarding the pension case, as you know, this case has been in the court system for some time. It is currently at the Retirement Benefits Authority Tribunal, and there are certain matters that need to be determined. As you can recall, this is a technical matter requiring experts such as actuaries to help us determine how to compute the numbers. So all those aspects are being determined at the current case. And as soon as we are aware of what that means for us, and also going through our legal processes, we shall make the necessary provisions if required in line with the international accounting standards. So there is a standard that really guides, especially in such matters where there is a lot of uncertainty. So we are watchful of that, and obviously we'll continue pursuing our options and working with our actuaries and our legal teams to support us in that process. The other question was relating to the implementation of new requirements by the central bank, particularly what we call Basel requirements. What I just wanted to make a note about is the central banks globally are members of an organization called Bank for International Settlements, which is an international organization that serves central banks and other financial authorities across the group to ensure they pursue their monetary and financial stability through international cooperation. This authority, BIS, is actually based in Basel in Switzerland, and hence and they are responsible, cooperating with all the members who are central banks to create regulations that support this agenda for the members, including our central bank. Hence, these regulations are called Basel regulations, after obviously the headquarters. So what has been the status? These are not mandatory, but definitely, because they are developed by all banking central banks, different central banks take a different path around how to implement this, obviously taking into account, the maturity of their markets and various other aspects. What I would say, in Kenya, we adopted what we used to be, what they have regimes called Basel I, Basel II, etc., which are graduating requirements, obviously based on different things that occur, such as the financial crisis in 2008, where they improved some of the requirements. So what I would say, in 2013, Kenya implemented what I would call some aspects of Basel II and some aspects of Basel III. So the shareholder has rightfully noted that Central Bank has recently issued some guidelines for us to take on more regulations in terms of improvements. So we are in the process of reviewing this, and obviously we will ensure that we comply with them, and we obviously will do the necessary impact analysis. So there are things that we have been expecting in the journey, and they are welcome because they improve the industry. So I would end there. The final question was on the dividend, and thank you, fellow shareholders, the shareholders who have really talked about the dividend. And the question was, how will we go forward in 2025 in terms of the dividend? As the CEO has really articulated our strategy, we will continue to execute that strategy, which is really customer-centric. We support our customers. Our customers will take on more differentiated products that we have that really align with our strategy, and that means our customers will be able to do more business, and obviously that is where we can execute. The CEO has also really articulated the challenges that come through the economic environment that we operate. So how do we approach dividends and keeping capital to support us grow? So we do have a very robust process around that, and we have always said when we have capital that we do not require to drive our business, we should be able to return that dividend to the shareholders. So I would just say that is the policy, the way we approach dividend. We set aside for business growth, and what we then have is what we pay to the shareholders. So I will stop there, and thank you very much.
Yes, if you allow me, there's a question on John's and Zhao asked about whether they can meet me because we don't have the physical AGM, and the answer is yes. I think you just need to reach out through the company secretariat, and we can always organize. If shareholders want to meet management, we are open because this is your company. We work for you, so we are open. You just need to go through the company secretary, and she can always organize how we can do that meetup, and we can be able to answer any questions. But at any one time, you are always open to engage with us. You've got our email, you've got our website. Any questions or any concern, any ideas that you have, please just feel free to interact with us, and we'll be able to do what we need to do. So thank you very much. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Kariuki and Chemutai. Shareholders, I trust that we have now considered all matters contained in the annual report and the questions raised by shareholders. The Q&A session on the financial statements is now closed. I will now request the Secretary to read out the proposed resolution with respect to the financial statements and to confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder for the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Shareholders, the first resolution put before you reads as follows: to receive, consider, and if thought fit, adopt the annual report and financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st December 2024, together with the reports of the directors, statements of the chairperson and chief executive officer, and the auditor's report thereon. The resolution has been proposed by Karen Nyaboke Nyakeriga and seconded by Dina Margaret Kukwaro.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. The next item on the agenda is to confirm the payment of interim dividends on the ordinary and preference shares and to approve the payment of a final dividend on the ordinary and preference shares. I now ask the Secretary to read the resolutions and to confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder for the resolutions.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Shareholders, the second resolution put before you reads as follows: to confirm the payment of one interim dividend of 8 shillings declared on 22nd August 2024 and paid on 8th October 2024 for each ordinary share, and to approve the payment of a final dividend of 37 shillings for each ordinary share of Kenya shillings 5 on the issued share capital of the company in respect of the year ended the 31st December 2024. This makes the total dividend payout for the year ended 31st December 2024 45 shillings per ordinary share. This resolution has been proposed by Stephen Irungu Kimani and seconded by Chami Alois Wafula. The second part of this resolution is to confirm the payment of one interim dividend of Kenya shillings 83,769,863 declared on 22nd August 2024 and paid on 8th October 2024, and to approve the payment of a final dividend of Kenya shillings 84,230,137 on the non-redeemable, non-cumulative, non-voting, non-participating, and non-convertible preference shares. The resolution has been proposed by Dina Margaret Kokwaro and seconded by Charles Tutwek Cherogoni.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. The next item on the agenda is the election of directors who retire in accordance with the provisions of the company's Articles of Association. The profiles of the directors retiring at this meeting and who offer themselves for re-election are set out in the profiles of the Board of Directors on pages 69 to 72 of the annual report. Due to my conflicted position being both a retiring director and the board chairperson, I will temporarily vacate the chair while consideration is being given to my re-election as a director. During this time, Mr. David Ongolo will take over as acting chair.
Thank you, Chair. I now ask the Secretary to read the next resolution and to confirm whether we have a proposer and a seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Ongolo. Members, the next resolution reads as follows: to elect Mrs. Kellen Karaoke, a director retiring by rotation, who being eligible offers herself for re-election in accordance with Article 107 of the company's Articles of Association. The resolution has been proposed by Elijah Katitwa Mwao and seconded by John Wairi Wandugo.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. I will now hand back to the chair to continue the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Ongolo. Secretary, please read the next resolution and confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, the next resolution reads as follows: to elect Mr. David Ongolo, a director retiring by rotation and who being eligible offers himself for re-election in accordance with Article 107 of the company's Articles of Association. The resolution has been proposed by Mercy Turfosa Akinjowi and seconded by Paul Wambua Kioko.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. Secretary, please read the next resolution and confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, the next resolution put before you reads as follows: to elect Mrs. Nivedita Sharma, a director retiring by rotation, who being eligible offers herself for re-election in accordance with Article 107 of the company's Articles of Association. The resolution has been proposed by Margaret Wambui Gitonga and seconded by Samuel Odero Ojanga.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. Secretary, please read the next resolution and confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder for the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, the next resolution put before you reads as follows: to elect Mrs. Beverly Obatoyenbo, who being a director appointed to fill a casual vacancy, retires in accordance with Article 109A of the company's Articles of Association and being eligible offers herself for re-election. The resolution has been proposed by Ruben Kutosi Walukana and seconded by Peter Dhumi Muturi.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. Secretary, please read the next resolution and confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, the next resolution put before you reads as follows. To elect Mr. Robert Bungwa, who being a director appointed to fill a casual vacancy, retires in accordance with Article 109A of the company's Articles of Association and being eligible, offers himself for re-election. The resolution has been proposed by Saleh Mohamed Luta and seconded by David Osiemo Nyangweso.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. Secretary, please read the next resolution and confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, the next resolution put before you reads as follows. To elect Mrs. Edith Chumba, who being a director appointed to fill a casual vacancy, retires in accordance with Article 109A of the company's Articles of Association and being eligible, offers herself for re-election. The resolution has been proposed by Rose Wanjiro Mwangi and seconded by Edward Apollo Omogi.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. After election of directors, the next matter to be dealt with is the election of members of the Board Audit Committee. Secretary, kindly read the resolution and confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder for the resolution.
Thank you, Chair. Members, the next resolution put before you reads as follows. In accordance with the provisions of Section 769 of the Companies Act 2015, the following directors, being members of the Board Audit Committee, be elected to continue to serve as members of the said committee. Mr. Robert Mbugwa, Mrs. Nivedita Sharma, and Mrs. Beverly Obatoyenbo. The resolution has been proposed by Shami Alois Wafula and seconded by John Mutiangua Mwinde.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. The next matter to be dealt with is approval of the directors' report on the remuneration paid to the directors for the year ended 31st December 2024, and to authorize the board to fix the directors' remuneration for the year 2025. The directors' remuneration report can be found on pages 139 to 143 of the annual report. I now ask the Secretary to read the resolution to be passed and to confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder for the resolution.
Thank you, Chair. Shareholders, the next resolution put before you reads as follows. To approve the directors' remuneration report and the remuneration paid to the directors for the year ended 31st December 2024, and to authorize the board to fix the directors' remuneration for the year 2025. The resolution has been proposed by Jairo Ojiambo Makoha and seconded by Josephine Wambui Mburu.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. The next matter on the agenda is the reappointment of Ernst & Young LLP as the auditors of the company in accordance with Section 721 of the Companies Act 2015, subject to Section 24(1) of the Banking Act, and to authorize the directors to fix the auditor's remuneration. Ernst & Young have confirmed their willingness to continue as the auditor of the company. If approved, they will conduct their 6th audit of the company's financial statements for the year 2025. I now ask the Secretary to read the resolution to be passed and to confirm whether we have a proposer and seconder of the resolution.
Thank you, Chair. Shareholders, the next resolution put before you reads as follows. To approve the reappointment of Ernst & Young LLP as the auditor of the company for the year 2025 in accordance with Section 721 of the Companies Act 2015 and subject to Section 24(1) of the Banking Act, and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration. The resolution has been proposed by Jemima Adoyo Okoth and seconded by Boni M.D. Mweha Kahari.
I now put the resolution to the meeting and ask shareholders to vote. Shareholders, as mentioned earlier, the vote results of various motions will be announced prior to the closure of this meeting. I therefore encourage shareholders who are yet to exercise their voting rights to do so now within the next 5 minutes. As they do this, let us watch a brief video on the company.
Cross-border.
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 We've been in this continent for more than 100 years. At this present time, the continent is expanding, and businesses are expanding. And what we've noticed with our clients, they do not just want to operate in one market, they want to operate in multiple markets.
Standard Chartered is the leading cross-border bank operating in the most dynamic markets in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And by dynamic, we mean markets that are growing, that have young populations, that have a need for new products and services, and climate-resilient infrastructure.
Our investment in digital capabilities sets us apart from our competitors. We underpin that with exceptional advisory and the unlocking of financial flows for our clients using our people across our network, therefore leveraging on our cross-border strengths.
By being present in 52 countries, we are able to deliver a very unique proposition because we have front row seats and we get fast insights into the markets.
And in China, we do see lots of clients, especially manufacturers, considering offshoring to a market like Kenya for supply chain security consideration.
We offer unique solutions to both our global and local corporate clients. We've got FX products, interest rate products, and trade products.
Build it, invest in it, and make a transformative change for centuries. So please join us as we transform Africa.
Cross-border.
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 We've been in this continent for more than 100 years. At this present time, the continent is expanding, and businesses are expanding. And what we've noticed with our clients, they do not just want to operate in one market, they want to operate in multiple markets.
Standard Chartered is the leading cross-border bank operating in the most dynamic markets in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And by dynamic, we mean markets that are growing, that have young populations, that have a need for new products and services, and climate-resilient infrastructure.
Our investment in digital capabilities sets us apart from our competitors. We underpin that with exceptional advisory and the unlocking of financial flows for our clients using our people across our network, therefore leveraging on our cross-border strengths.
By being present in 52 countries, we are able to deliver a very unique proposition because we have front row seats and we get fast insights into the markets.
And in China, we do see lots of clients, especially manufacturers, considering offshoring to a market like Kenya for supply chain security consideration.
We offer unique solutions to both our global and local corporate clients. We've got FX products, interest rate products, and trade products.
Build it, invest in it, and make a transformative change for centuries. So please join us as we transform Africa.
Shareholders, voting is now closed. I request the company secretary to present the results of the voting exercise.
Shareholders, the vote results of the various motions are now displaying on your screens. Chairperson, with your permission, I will not read out the detail of each resolution, but I will confirm if each resolution has been approved or otherwise. The results will be uploaded on the company's website within 24 hours. The motion to adopt the annual audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2024 has been passed. The motion to confirm the payment of the interim dividends and approve the payment of the final dividends has been passed. The motions to elect Mrs. Kellen Kariuki, Mr. David Ongolo, Mrs. Nivedita Sharma, Mrs. Beverly Obatoyenbo, Mr. Robert Mbogwa, and Mrs. Edith Chumba as directors of the company have been passed. The motion to elect Mr. Robert Mbogwa, Mrs. Nivedita Sharma, and Mrs. Beverly Obatoyenbo as members of the Board Audit Committee has been passed. The motion to approve the director's report on remuneration and to authorize the board to fix the remuneration of the directors for the year 2025 has been passed. And finally, the motion to reappoint Ernst & Young LLP as the auditor of the company and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration has been passed.
Dear members, I want to sincerely thank you for showing confidence in the company's leadership and by re-electing me and my fellow directors presented to you today. I assure you of our unwavering commitment to the success of the company for your benefit and that of all our stakeholders. I will now ask the Secretary to confirm whether there is any other business for discussion for which due notice was given.
I confirm there is no other business for discussion for which due notice was given.
There being no other business of which due notice has been given, I take this opportunity to thank you once again for attending the meeting. That concludes the business of the 39th Annual General Meeting. I thank you for your attendance and I declare the meeting officially closed.
At Standard Chartered, sustainability is the heart of everything we do. In our own operations, we've set a target of being net zero by 2025, and in financing activities, we have set a target of 2050 with interim targets for 2030. What that means for our clients is we are working with our clients on advising them on how to set up sustainable finance frameworks, financing them, and then executing these transactions. In addition, we continue to work with industry and government stakeholders to develop regulation that works. Thank you.
If you sneeze and fart at the same time, does that mean your body's taking a screenshot? Sounds like